John R. Hand with the Pulsing Cinema. A few days ago, I went to a Weird Wednesday screening of Richard Stanley's Hardware. Richard Stanley's Hardware, a 35mm screening down at the Alamo Drafthouse here in Austin. The print quality was great. This was an uncut 35mm print flown in from Barcelona, which, according to the presenter Laird, is starting to exhibit signs of vinegar syndrome. So, not sure. It's a steady degradation of the film print, and don't know how many film screenings this print has left. But the quality of the picture was still excellent. The color was incredible. There were some black specks on it, and the rest of the stuff. It was obvious this print had been screened to many appreciative audiences in recent years, because I was about to say Blade Runner, but Hardware, which is kind of a bit of a Blade Runner, a bit of Terminator, a bit of Aliens, all into one, is a obscure cult film, which is sad. I mean, there's a lot of, I think, dedicated science fiction action fans who maybe have not seen this. It's a deficit in their path to total mastery of science fiction and this stuff. I mean, because for years the only way to see Hardware was on a ratty VHS or Laserdisc, and then the early 2000s in Germany they released a red edition DVD, which was uncut and it looked okay, didn't really have any extras. And then a few years ago, Severin Films finally released the uncut, remastered version of Hardware in a really beautiful Blu-ray, and that's the one to get right now. It's real. I think there is also, I think Second Sight or somebody released it in the UK as well. Oh my God, what a beautiful film. This was actually not the first time I saw Hardware in 35mm. My mom took me to the film when it was originally released in like 1990. In Pensacola in the Bayou Boulevard cinemas, no longer there. It's been wiped out, replaced with a Chick-fil-A. But it was there, a beautiful, beautiful theater, and it used to be have two big screens at that Bayou Boulevard, but they kept one of the big screens and they split up one of the big screens into two shoebox cinemas, and they showed like these weird Miramax films in one of those shoebox cinemas. Like I saw Hellraiser 3 there, and I saw Hardware there, and yeah, the print quality was just okay from that. I still remember it. I mean, it was like a turning moment in my life watching that film when I was so young, and I remember that scene with Lincoln where he's like watching the couple have infrared sex, and he's going, "Oh yeah, take it back," and he's like mumbling. I remember my mom just visibly groaning. He's, "Oh no." what if I expose my son to, but overall, we'd see weird shit like this and then just leave the theater, and she'd go, "Well, it was good. How'd you like it?" I was like, "Yeah, it was good." We wouldn't talk about it. What do you tell your mom after you've watched Hellraiser 3 together? What the fuck do you say? After you've watched a club scene where everybody gets whipped and chained and ripped apart, and but Hellraiser, Hellraiser 3, that was something. Imagine if I'd seen Hellraiser 1 or 2 with my mom. That wouldn't have been fun. But Hardware, the movie at hand, Hardware, man, it's been a few days, but I'm still thinking about what the hell of a action science fiction extravaganza. Just a hell of a film. There are some people who dislike Hardware in the same way there's some people who dislike Blade Runner. I guess there's some people who just dislike dystopian films in general. It just isn't their cup of tea. But I can't understand how anyone who is a science fiction aficionado could dislike something like Hardware. Man, style to spare. in the mode of a Terminator or Aliens, but it has its own texture to it. I mean, Richard Stanley has his own style, and he mixes a bit of the surreal and the supernatural and a bit of the Eastern hoodoo and a little bit of the symbolic cinema of Alejandro Jodorowsky into that, and the colors of Dario Argento and Bava and that kind of Euro cult influence is definitely on tap in abundance in Hardware. So, Hardware, I mean, you should know the story already, okay? The Hardware takes place in this kind of industrial, post-apocalyptic, scorched earth, which has been scarred by nuclear conflict or global warming or some combination of the two. And there's this soldier, Mo, short for Moses, played by Dylan McDermott, a great early role by Dylan McDermott. He's hanging around with his friend, who is this space pilot of some kind, Shades, and they go to see Mo, and they go to this junk person, midget, and they go and pick up this drone that's been in the sand dunes, and which is the Mark 13, which is this killer drone. So obviously they bring it back to Mo's girlfriend's apartment. She's kind of stuck in this kind of, she's like the upper middle class in post-apocalyptic world. She's in this kind of cloistered, sequestered in this, blown out apartment complex. So she has her own little room. They bring this droid back to her, where she installs it in some kind of weird art project that she's putting together. The droid, of course, is not non-functional. It comes back to life and starts chasing her around the apartment, and he starts killing everything in between the woman and his own reckless. The Mark 13 urban pacification drone. Oh man, and I mean a lot of people criticize the effects, the robot. Okay, it's dodgy. It's not. I mean, the idea of this film is that the robot in this film, the Mark 13 drone, is not fully functional. It's not fully pieced together. We see kind of a wire-framed computer animation of what the Mark 13 should look like. It's this weird spider robot, which it's actually kind of a very credible design. But the Mark 13 that we see in the film is kind of like half. It's like kind of like a Mark 13 that's kind of pieced itself together, and is like missing its legs. So it seems it likes to kind of hobble around. And very effective, very effectively shot film. Vaguely based on a 2000 AD comic book, which I don't think Richard Stanley ever originally acknowledged that it was based on this. There was some controversy when the film came out, very much like the Harlan Ellison controversy when Terminator came out, of like where's the origins of the story. In the case of Hardware, there was this 2000 AD story, comic book story about an android chasing a woman around an apartment, and the comic, some of the stills in the comic look very similar to the frames in the film, and I don't think I think in the commentary tracks to the European DVD Blu-ray and then the US, I don't really hear a lot about it, so it's still kind of a little bit of a moot issue maybe. I don't know, but in any case, it's very original film, very well shot. I mean, the film looks like a $50 million film, though it was shot for just a few million. The opening scenes, which I believe were shot in Tunisia, it's out in this red, scorched earth desert. When Richard Stanley was making this film, he said he wanted to move away from the blues of Ridley Scott. He said he wanted to make a post-apocalyptic future that was unlike that kind of blue-green, like Blade Runner stuff. He wanted to make one of those scorched earth and red, and it very effective, very effective. But the opening scenes in Tunisia, with the Zone Tripper character played by Carl McCoy of Fields of Nephilim. Richard Stanley had done the music video for Fields of Nephilim, where Carl McCoy had this character, the Preacher Man, which is like, even in like some of the poster art for Hardware, it's really that Preacher Man character, that with the clawed hand that shows up. But he's the guy who actually finds the droid out in the desert. It's a wonderfully shot scene. The film is just structured. I mean, it just clicks along, and you think, okay, this is going to be the big set piece, you know. Oh, and then there's going to be another set, and then there's another set piece, and so you just kind of, it's like you're on a roller coaster ride. You're about to vomit toward the end. It's so much shit, you know. And the lead character goes through so much, you know, and the end, and that weird scene with Dylan McDermott where this drone is the idea is that he's kind of designed for urban pacification. You know, his name is Mark 13, so he has this kind of ominous religious kind of connotation to it, and of course Moses, and so there's a, you know, no flesh shall be spared. It begins with a quote, and so there's all these biblical quotes and all of this kind of hoodoo, you know, religious, pseudo-religious stuff, kind of ebbing and flowing through the story, which add a kind of another little texture to it. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I lost my place. I love the film so much. I mean, it's just where to begin with it. It's such it looks so big. It's so well structured, and the end, and then the gore shots, the gore stuff, which was cut out of the original U.S. release, but it's so quick. You don't really, you know. I mean, watching the original print and watching this one, it just is that extra little coup de grace, that extra little thing that you need. So obviously, I think the versions of the film which exist today, which are in print, are the uncut versions. So I don't think there's really a need to worry about that. But Carl McCoy is that Zone Tripper. That's wild. That's crazy. Oh man, Hardware. It's just such a good-looking film, such a great film, and you know, and it's just, you know, there was always the planned sequel to Hardware that Richard Stanley had planned. There was a script that eventually got out there. I think that would have been a great sequel, you know. But in any case, Hardware, a great film. If you see it in 35, if there's a screening, an opportunity to go see it, a hell of a movie. And I'm going to stop babbling now because I'm going to spoil it for you. So, Hardware, go see it now.